At the peak of your career, kayo at saka ni Martin Nievera, na you were pitted against each other.
Yeah.
I know you're the best of friends, pero was there a time na parang naapektuhan ang friendship nyo?
And then I said, hey doc, what's wrong? And immediately he goes, Gars, looks like we have a problem with your heart. I want to see you when I arrive tomorrow. I said, why? What's wrong? And he looked at me straight in the eye and said, you have cancer in the kidney.
Magandang araw Pilipinas at sa ating mga kababayan sa ibang bansa. Welcome to Tictalk with Aster, Amoyo. Sa araw na ito mga kaibigan ay isa na naman pong super special celebrity ang ating makakakwentuhan. He is an award-winning singer, songwriter, record producer, musician, TV host, a music icon. Mga kaibigan, let's all welcome the one and only Mr. Pure Energy, Gabriel Valenciano.
Hello everyone. Finally,
after 3 years?
correct.
Wow.
After 3 years, ito na naman tayo.
So how are you first?
I'm fine. I'm actually doing really okay. Excited ako sa kung nasaan ako sa career ko ngayon. Kahit na yung mga iba ay naniniwala na nag-retire na ako, I'm glad na nabigyan ako ng pagkakataon today to clarify certain misconceptions at misunderstandings na maaring nalulungkot yung iba dahil
That's how I feel too.
Dun sa last concert ko kasi
right,
it's called
right.
One Last Time.
Right.
Pure Energy, One Last Time.
Why so?
Well, I personally feel na I think, isa sa pinakamalaking struggle ng isang katulad kong singer and performer. Pag yung utak mo ay nagsasabi ng go, pero yung katawan mo ay nagsasabi ng no.
I understand.
Andun na ako eh.
Yes.
I'm 60 years old.
Wow.
Kaya pa naman. Pero ayokong umabot dun sa punto na nakikita ng tao na bumabagal na ako at nahihirapan na ako. Kaya ang gagawin ko, itong darating na concert ko na Pure Energy One More Time na gagawin sa Araneta sa December 20 and 22 of 2024, ito na yung huling big concert ko sa isang malaking venue.
Oh.
Hindi naman ibig sabihin na hindi na ako magper-perform sa mga venueng malalaki. Ang ibig kong sabihin yung solo, yung 2.5 hour, 3 hour concert, Gabriel Valenciano, Mr. Pure Energy. I think sa ngayon, dumating na ako dun sa final page ng chapter ng career ko with regard to concerts na ganun kalaki. Pero, pag inimbita ako sa mga corporate shows o mag-perform sa, let's say, music museum or sa mga mas intimate venues.
Or mga Soler.
Or Soler.
Oo, diba?
Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yan.
Yes,
Resorts World, Soler, Okada, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung mga ganyang klaseng performances. Yung mga ganitong kalaki lang kasi iba talaga yung dynamics eh. Aster, yung dynamics para sa katawan, dynamics para sa boses, dynamics sa mental, dynamics sa buong physical conditioning for a concert like this. It's different.
It's the human side.
It's the human side.
Of
Na
Gary.
mahirap ah.
Di ba?
Mahirap to. Kasi syempre, ang gusto ko tuloy-tuloy lang eh. Gusto ko in 3 years time, tara! 43rd anniversary ko, sige. Gusto ko 45th anniversary, sige, hataw pa. Pero minsan, kailangan harapin ang katotohanan, you know? Malungkot man, also very exciting, Aster, because I know that there is still more for me. Ang dami pa rin ako mga ideas dito eh.
And 60 is still young.
60 is still young. Of course, yung mga kabataan, 60, tanda-tanda na. But I believe that the young people today, when they get to 60, only then na maiintindihan nila na it's really not an old age. It's just a number. May mga ibang bagay na maaring medyo mas mahirap nang gawin, pero the desire, the passion, the ambition, the ideas, I think those are going to forever be a part of me. Na hindi magre-retire ang mga yon sa katawan na ito at sa kaluluwa ni Gary Valenciano.
Because as far as your fans are concerned, as much as possible, they don't want you to stop.
I know.
At all.
I know. Etong kasi, Aster, the position that I'm in is a position where ako lang ang makakaintindi kung bakit One Last Time ang tawag doon sa concert ko noong April. Siyempre, mga iba nagsabi, One Last Time. Ito, magre-repeat naman. One More Time. Yeah. But it's one more time of that one last big concert. Ginagawa ko lang ang concert na to because of the requests that I've received and Araneta Coliseum. Sila mismo nagsabi, hindi po ba, Gary, na you started with us 40 years ago?
Correct.
Baka gusto
Correct.
mong ituloy yung journey o i-complete yung journey.
1984.
Correct.
Yes,
My first
yes,
concert, Gary Valenciano, A Live. Hindi pa nga Gary V ang tawag sa akin. Hindi pa nga
Buhay.
Pure Energy pa ang tawag
Yes,
sa akin.
yes.
Araneta Coliseum was the first venue. But I'm glad that I'm here because I have to thank the people of MOA as well. They accepted me with open arms, and they gave me April 26 and 27 of 2024. Eksakto, kasi April is my anniversary.
Right.
So this one is a repeat of that concert. Marami din nagtanong, may kaibahan ba ang concert na to dun sa concert na ginawa mo sa April? May konti, pero ayaw namin masyadong baguhin ang concert. Para sa ganon, everybody is given the same concert. Not something na masasabi ng tao, sayang, kaya hindi namin napanood itong repeat kasi nakita na namin yung first run. Yung pala, itong repeat,
May iba.
No. We're
may
not
tweak,
changing it.
Kumbaga, di ba?
Meron din mga konting kaibahan dun
Okay.
sa first concert. I want to thank everyone who came to see the first shows on April 26, 27, and May 10. Pati yung Grab. I mean, I have to say it, but I did a show for them. It was that very same show. It was that season of 2024. April, May, June, July, August. That for me was the most, siguro isa sa pinaka-fulfilling seasons of my entire career.
Wow.
Kasi I'm also been thinking of going more into inspirational concerts, Aster. If I can share.
That's nice to hear, yes.
Yeah, because last year, gumawa ako ng concert series dito lang sa Music Museum. And it was called Back at the Museum. Now, dun sa concert na yon, series yun So that's like, how many shows did we have? Like 10, 12 shows in that venue last year. There was a portion where I called the by request portion. Kung saan, kahit anong kanta ko.
From the crowd?
From the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
You tell me what you want me to sing. I cannot do the entire song kasi if I get 12 requests or 6 requests,
That's more than an hour.
Diba?
Oh, diba?
So I would limit it to about 5 or 6 songs. You know that 99% of the requests were songs that were inspirational. So it told me, people are looking for something. They're in need of being encouraged, uplifted, blessed. And if I have been given the music to do that, then I should. And I will maximize that.
And you're also known for that.
And I'm also known for it. So, ang nangyari, after yung malaking concert sa MOA, nagkaroon ako ng 2 full-out 100% inspirational music concerts sa US on August 16 and 17. 2 different venues, 2 different churches. It wasn't MOA, but it was, the level of fulfillment was equal to MOA. Kasi MOA, thousands and thousands, no? Ito,
right.
iilan lang.
Intimate, oo.
Pero
Iba
there
yung
was a connection.
pakiramdam,
Yeah.
yes, oo.
There was a connection made na
Yes.
kumbaga parang apples and oranges, numbers and letters. Numbers, MOA. Letters, ito yung mga churches na kung saan ako nag-perform. And people are asking for that kind of concert more and more now. Up to when? Hindi ko alam kung hanggang kailan magiging ganito. But it's obvious that with all of that's happening in the world today, the way I remain relevant is to sing the songs that can hopefully plant seed into hearts of people that later can produce good fruit.
But for now, the word retirement is not in you.
No, the word is retirement. Remember, I said one last time. I didn't say it's the end of everything. I'm not going to retire.
So parang may kama lang.
And I think that I'd be going against God's will if I were to retire. No, I'm just turning over a new chapter. Kasi it will also be wrong for me, Aster, to continue doing all of this in big venues when I know I am being called to do something else already. Kailangan sundan ko yung kung saan ako tinatawag ni Lord. And I'm excited. It will be challenging. Some people may not enjoy kasi masyadong inspirational, but hindi ko rin lolokohin ng audience na come and see Mr. Pure Energy tapos yun pala it's inspirational. Pag Pure Energy ang tawag sa concert kahit maliit ang venue, yan ang ibibigay ko. Okay? But if it's an inspirational concert, I will make people know also. Pag pumunta kayo, ganito yung concert natin, ha?
At ito yung makikita nyo.
Ito yung makikita nyo, ha?
Right.
Ganon. So I don't want to mislead people.
40 years in the business.
Exciting.
No joke.
It's
right?
no joke.
Give me not just a few, the highlights that you can remember?
I can remember. Ooh, that's 40 years. That's almost like 40 highlights. Okay, I'll mention it randomly.
Yes.
The first 3, the top 3, maybe the top 4 are how my family came together.
Oh.
Okay, because when I met Angeli, that was a highlight in itself.
Yes.
Controversy yan eh. She
know.
ended up getting pregnant. I
Right.
was not married to her. I was very young. I was 19 years old and I was going to be a father. And then the next great event happened. My first son was born,
Paolo.
Paolo. And then 4 years later, Gabriel was born. And 4 years later, Kiana was born.
Grabe, parang ang ganda ng pacing, no?
Yeah, perfect
4
pacing
years,
actually.
yes.
And notice that I mentioned my kids first. Siyempre, ang daming nangyari sa gitna ng lahat niya, no? But the kids, that's what completes me. Without them, I don't think that my career would have either lasted this long or maybe my career would not have been as complete and not as enjoyable. Kasi iba eh. Iba yung nagper-perform ka and you have kids that are yours, and then when you look at them, they're looking at you and they're going, and they're supporting you.
Iba ang...
Iba.
Iba.
Or after, when I come backstage, even at a young age, nakakapagod. You ask people like the young ones today, like Darren Espanto, or AC Bonifacio, or Maki, or yung mga young ones that perform.
Yes.
After a performance, it's nakakapagod. Ang advantage ko at the age of 20 was I had a child to come home. I could hold Paolo.
You were so inspired.
I was very inspired. And then as they grew up, Gabriel came. Siya yung medyo gumagalaw katulad ko, di ba? So sometimes I would see him backstage kahit pagod na ako, and he's still there moving, And it's a joy that you cannot put into words and you cannot repeat, because after that concert is done, that concert is part of history, and that moment is part of history. And then came the apple of my eye. This is Kiana.
Kiana.
The only thing that I regret to a certain extent is that when Kiana was born, imbis na nag-plateau yung career ko, nag-soar pa ng konti. So, she, among all the children, is the one that I spent least time with. Lagi akong wala. Lagi akong may concert, lagi akong may tour. Hindi lang ako, pero pati si Angeli na rin.
Oo.
So, the only thing that I remember vividly in my mind, which I have on video, is seeing Kiana practicing for her ballet recital. And she was so excited to see me that dun sa video, you don't see me, but I'm always telling her, calm down, follow the teacher, kasi she'll do extra steps because she's excited that her dad was there. Pero yung mismong ballet recital, wala ako. I was abroad. And that tugs at my heart even now, because these things don't happen again di ba? When it's finished, wala na, hindi mo na maibabalik o marireplay yun. But those are the first 4 highlights. My marriage with Angeli, Paolo, Gabriel, Kiana. Now the concerts.
Yes.
Randomly, 1990, right after the earthquake in Baguio, we had a concert called Major Impact. Major dahil, alam mo di ba, ngayon yung salita ng mga kabataan ngayon, meron silang mga salita na ngayon lang talaga ginagamit palagi. At that time, yung salitang major, so, kunyari, yung mga kabataan, uy, nakita mo si ganito-ganyan, oh my God, gwapo niya, napaka-major.
Yes,
Ganon ang salita nila.
Right.
So, when yung nangyari yung earthquake, kami ni Direk Roel Santiago, we were best friends and, we were like brothers. And sabi niya, if we have a concert, let's call it Major Impact. Why? Nandun kami sa Tagaytay, Aster. We were meeting about the concert. I had my CDs with me. I had a boombox with me. Tinanong niya ako, Gary, what is it you want to do for this concert? Okay, ganito, no? Ito yung mga ideas ko. I was playing a song. I don't remember what song. Biglang we were on a cliff overlooking Taal Volcano.
Yes.
Biglang the hut started going like this.
Oh my God, shaking.
Tapos narinig ko yung squeaking ng car. Ganun. And I looked at him and I said, bro, we're going through an earthquake. We prayed. A lengthy. Medyo mahaba-haba yung prayer namin. Pagkatapos ng prayer namin, yumayanig pa, gumagalaw pa. Tapos yung mga iba kasi pag nakikita mong mga building na medyo opposite, kasi pag nasa Makati ka or Quezon City, makikita mo yung mga buildings
parang
na nagsisway pero hindi sabay-sabay.
Right.
Sa Taal, walang mga buildings at that time. Bundok. So makikita mo yung bundok, yung isa pag ganito, yung isa pag ganon, and it's just parang science fiction movie. And then you see the trees na iba yung pagkasway nila. But because of that, we did not cancel the schedule of the concert. We said, let's have a concert, and with the impact of this earthquake, let's call it major impact.
Ayun.
And in that concert,
So may kwento pala.
May kwento talaga.
Yeah, right.
And till today, that concert remains one of my top favorite concerts. Isa lang, hindi kami nag-repeat ng concert na yan eh. But in that concert was Regine Velasquez and the late Francis Magalona.
Oh.
So can you imagine the time when mga kababayan ko of Francis Magalona was a hit?
At its peak.
And then you have the ruins of Baguio, and you have the ruins of Cabanatuan City, Dagupan City. Because I went Nagdala kami ng goods together with my brother-in-law Anthony, with Direk Roel. Nagdala kami ng goods. Nakita namin lahat yun. So when we finally came up with the concert, at kinanta ni Francis Magalona yung mga kababayan ko,
diba?
Dapat lang malaman nyo. Bilib ako sa kulay ko, ako ay Filipino. It gives people so much to look forward to, so much hope. Kaya that concert remains to be one of the top highlights. And then, the concert Shout Live, which was in 1992.
2 years after.
Yes, we released the album Shout for Joy, and it became the album of the year in a secular award-giving body. So it was, again, a sign for me na the Philippines is ripe and ready to listen to inspirational music of a different kind. You know, I love the worship music where it's Amen. I love that. But I was being given songs that had a beat to it.
Upbeat.
Shout for joy, upbeat and all. Nagustuhan ng tao. Yung mga iba nagtanong parang, paano ba? Pwede ba yan? Sabi ko, yeah, pwede. Kasi when you have a relationship with God, it's not a sad relationship. It's a joyful relationship. Peaceful. It's an exciting relationship, despite all the difficulties and problems. And I felt it would be a great testimony that for someone who has type 1 diabetes and all that he could still shout for joy despite all of that. So when that concert happened, and then the album got all of those awards, that was another highlight in my career. And then, 1995.
3 years later.
Hataw Na.
Oh, another hit album.
Crazy song, Junji Marcelo.
Yes.
You know, Hataw Na was actually originally written in English.
Oh yeah?
By a friend of mine by
Shout
the name of
Joy.
George Black. No, it was called Turn It Up.
Yeah.
So I recorded it for Japan. I released an album in Japan. So Turn It Up, di ba? Hataw Na is, Hataw na, wag kang mapagod, hataw at galaw, ako't ikaw. This one was, Turn it up, until you feel it. Turn it up loud. Ooh, that's funky now. That's how it was then.
So nilagyan lang ng Tagalog lyrics.
Kasi ang ganda ng
Yes,
beat, di ba?
oo.
Sabi ko, teka
Yes,
muna,
yes.
ano kaya kung lagyan natin ng Tagalog to? Sino kaya? Junji Marcelo. So Junji came in and he put in the word hataw. At that time, yung salitang hataw, medyo hindi masakyan ng marami kasi feeling nila parang bad word in the lives of those that live on the streets.
Right.
Pag sinabi mong hataw, parang negative ang dating. And it was Junji that told me, no, hataw is go for it. Kahit ano man ang ano, bira! Hataw na.
Yes.
I said, sige, pakinggan nga, parinig nga yung ano, yun. Eto, Gars. Kailanman o saan walang pakialam. Okay, tayo na't mag-umpisa, tama na ang pag-upo nyo. Tayo, sige, tayo'y magsayaw. Alay ito sa ating mundo, yan ang nais ko. I said, tayo natin na, sali na. I said, this is good. I like this. Then, hataw na. I said, okay, let's do it. Bahala na. Then they made a movie out of it. Diba?
You were?
I was with Dayanara Torres.
Yeah, you were the lead actor.
Yeah. And it was great with the late Nida Blanca.
Yes.
So many other young artists then, were a part of it. Rosel Nava, Jolina Magdangal, sina Victor Neri. It's vivid in my mind as to how it all came together. I was already older than a lot of those young actors and actresses, but the song was what made me connect and stay relevant to the times then. So, those are just a few. There are many more.
There are more and more and
the
more.
The song Take Me Out of the Dark that I wrote in 1986.
Another inspirational song.
Imagine 1986 pa yon. And then when the pandemic hit, it's like it got revived because I came up with a version that I shot at home just to share online with the rest of the world and to hear the reactions from people from around the world. people who were giving their comments about my vocal performance, from going into that kind of criticism or constructive criticism, going into tears of saying, wait, I was supposed to critique this guy, but he's saying something that's getting me right here. And, to see that manifest in the lives of others made me realize that when you start something with God, even when you feel it may not be exactly what people are looking for, in 1986, I mean, wala pang Di Bale na lang noon, wala pang Sana Maulit Muli, it was Take Me Out of the Dark. And I remember my recording company was a bit skeptical kasi parang masyadong religious ito.
Yes.
Yung pala, it was already there was a hunger in people's hearts for songs like that. Kasi yung
kakaiba yung tama
Kasi yung kwento nun was hindi dapat yun ang pinush namin. We were going to push another song. And I think it's the song, What More Can I Say? Or Each Passing Night, my duet with... No, it was a song called What More Can I Say?
Parang album cut lang siya.
Album cut. Last song yung Take Me Out of the Dark
Okay.
Parang isinali na lang. Kasi it was the last song. But we were going to push another song. Eksaktong Holy Week. Tapos at that time, radio stations, they would call, the station called Angeli and said, look, there's this one song that Gary has never done before. It's called Take Me Out of the Dark. And people seem to be requesting for it. Can we play that for Holy Week? Just for Holy Week lang. Then after that, we'll go to that song, What More Can I Say? And we'll push that. So we agreed. Sige, let's push it. After Holy Week, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung mga requests. Now, of course, just a little background, no? At that time, there was no online. There were no streaming.
Wala pang social media.
So people would call the stations and request. So can you imagine the DJs that would get the request na, please can you play Gary Valenciano's Take Me Out of the Dark? Oh, sure. Then they'd play it. And people kept calling. It was so much that at that time, it made me realize, gave me a foretaste of where I was really called to go. That was 1986. 1992 was when I came up with an entire album of all inspirational music, and that's Shout. When the DJs would get the call from the listeners, it brought that song to a certain level that had never happened before in the local music scene, where a inspirational Christian song would actually hit the charts. But it really dawned upon me na, that was a foretaste of what was to come 6 years later. 1992, when the Shout for Joy album was birthed.
That became also the title of one of your concerts.
Yes,
right?
That's the one. Shout.
Shout.
The Shout live concert
right.
was almost at the same time as the Shout for Joy album. And Take Me Out of the Dark was the last song that I did then, and it was excellent. But if for those of you who don't know the song Take Me Out of the Dark, check out the Take Me Out of the Dark live and raw version of yours truly. And it was at home, and I remember putting up the cell phone, and I said, okay, let's shoot this. It was like, I think, mid-afternoon when we shot it. Hindi ako nag-ayos ng buhok, wala. Sabi ko,
nasa bahay ka lang
Nasa bahay lang ako kasi pandemic, di ba? I couldn't, Tapos sabi ni Julia, sabi niya, but Tito, they won't see your face kasi silhouette lang. I had the computer monitor was behind, and then they were shooting, and I said, my face is not important for people to see. It's the message that people have to capture. One take lang to ha. I'm gonna take this once lang. Okay, game. Bang! One take, that's what came out. And I don't know if I can ever perform it that way again, but at that time, it wasn't a performance. It was really more like a prayer because we were all going through the impact of COVID and the lockdown.
Sa dinami-dami ng mga hit songs mo, I mean, one after the other, doon sa 40 years mo in this business. Of course, just to name a few, of course, yung kasasabi mo nga lang, yung Hataw Na, Di Na Natuto.
Di Na Natuto.
Natutulog Ba Ang Diyos?
Natutulog Ba Ang Diyos?
Napakarami pang iba. Sa dinami-dami, is there one particular song na sobra ang tama sa'yo?
Let me give you two songs kasi there are two kinds. There's the inspirational and there's the pop.
Right.
Okay? I think Take Me Out of the Dark will forever be. Because till today, I see how it speaks to people. Nakikita ko kasi especially the time na naka-mask lahat ng tao.
You've been through it.
I've been through it.
Yes, right.
Time and time again, I've been in that moment.
Right.
Take Me Out of the Dark. Laying down on the hospital bed for my bypass. Laying down again on the hospital bed to work on my cancer, my kidney.
Oh my God.
or waking up in the middle of the night and my sugar's low, and inside, I'm sometimes crying and I'm saying, Lord, just take me out of this darkness. I know you won't give me what I can't bear. Take me out of the dark. I don't want to be there. So that's something that I've replayed to myself time and time again. But there's a difference when you see, you know how they say that yung mata natin is parang, it's the window to our soul. So in movies, pag nakikita mo yung actor, minsan the person's not doing much, but you can tell from the eyes of the actor what the actor is feeling. So can you imagine, Aster, when I'm singing that song, Take Me Out of the Dark, or a song like Could You Be Messiah, or like Natutulog Ba Ang Diyos, or like Gaya ng Dati, and when I'm looking at people and they're looking at me, and without saying much, without saying anything at all, you can tell what they're going through in life. Maybe they're dealing with sickness, maybe they're dealing with financial problems or relationships, and I'm able to just sing a song to make them feel, hey, it's okay. We're all in this together, and you're gonna go through this, but going through means you're going to go and come out also in the other end. It's not gonna last forever. So, Take Me Out of the Dark would be my top favorite inspirational song.
What's the other song?
Pop is the song Sana Maulit Muli.
Oh, yes, yes.
That song was originally written for a young actress before she passed away. This was Julie Vega. Julie Vega and Janice de Belen, they were the top two female actresses. One was from GMA, the other was from ABS, and it was like two teleseries.
Parang Ana Luna yata.
Yeah, Ana Luna and Flor de Luna and Annalisa.
Annalisa pala, I'm sorry.
And wow, I remember...
Shinorkat ko.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember at that time, it was the talk of the town. And this what's her name? Julie Vega, she got sick and she passed away, according to sources, because of anorexia.
Yes.
And what got to me was I saw a picture of the late FPJ sitting by her bed, almost like this. This is her bed. She was here, and he was like this. And I don't know, but that picture struck me because I couldn't believe how a young actress like Julie Vega could have such an impact on a seasoned actor like Fernando Poe Jr. Yes. And it also inspired me because Fernando Poe Jr. was like her grandfather already, and yet he cared enough. And I think maybe I've learned that from him. That's how I am with the people I work with ASAP today. Anyway, when she passed away, I wrote a song called Why'd You Close Your Eyes? So, and the tune was, but why'd you close your eyes so soon? Why'd you leave us all behind?
Yeah.
And then I gave it to the parents and I said, I will never make a recording of this version ever. Hindi ko pagkikitaan to. Okay? This English song is just for the family. Sad to say though that both her parents have already passed away. And there was, I don't know if it was a cousin or a friend of theirs that gave me a copy of that song on the CD.
Parang you forgot all about it already.
No, I know that I've had it, but
yes.
I've never had a solid copy kasi talagang binigay ko talaga.
Hindi mo ni-record?
Ni-record ko sa bahay, pero nilagay ko sa cassette.
Not released commercially?
I never released it, and I never kept it so that I will never be tempted to, But then, my recording company said, Gary, what if you came up with a song na ballad? I said, sure, why not? Tagalog. At that time, hindi ako marunong sulat sa Tagalog eh. Medyo mahirap. Kasi even up to now pa naman, medyo mababaw pa yung Tagalog ko. I didn't want to touch the song at all. But Angeli came up with the idea na, hey, what if we made that song of Julie into Tagalog? And at first I said, I promised the parents kasi na hindi ko pagkikitaan talaga yung kanta na to, no? Yung English version. And I told Angeli also, Han, it's about death. Ayoko naman i-translate yung kanta tapos I have a song about dying. I cannot. Right. She came up with the idea na what if it's totally a rewritten song that has nothing to do with Julie and nothing to do with death. Gagamitin lang natin yung melody, yung kanta. I said, yeah, but I can't write it. And she said, can I try? I said, sige, here. And so she wrote all the lyrics.
So si Angeli ang
she wrote the lyrics.
Nagsulat ng lyrics.
The music is mine. No. The lyrics are hers.
Pero ang pinaka-paborito ko sa mga kanta mo, Natutulog Ba Ang Diyos?
Ay.
Di Na Natuto.
Di Na Natuto. Di Na Natuto, Danny Javier of Apo Hiking, the late Danny Javier of Apo Hiking Society came up to me. Siyempre, kinabahan ako kasi Apo Hiking Society, no? And I know that Danny is the most of them all. Yung talagang fighter yan ng kung ano ang tama, kung ano ang dapat. So when I got into the studio, the first thing he told me was, Gary, this was, I gave this song to the guys. Ibig sabihin, pinarinig niya kina Jim and Buboy. But they didn't like the song.
Oh, yeah?
Not my version, no? But they didn't like the song. Basta tinugtog lang ni Danny and all. So, Gars, I'll give it to you na lang. O, ikaw na bahala. Okay, I'm here. I'll take care of you. I'll guide you through the song. Okay. I get the headset. I said, okay. Nandiyan ka na naman. And I started singing the song. And when the whole recording was done, I remember Danny coming to me and saying, I think this song's going to put you on the map.
Oh.
Ganun. Alam niya talaga, this song is going to put you on the map for sure. I didn't have a Tagalog song at that time. None. I had a song called Hang On. I had a song called Reaching Out. Everything was English.
Right.
Then Di Na Natuto came out. And when Di Na Natuto came out, it was on the charts. On the top charts from it started at number 6, then it went to 4,
number 1.
Then 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 1, 1, 1. Ganon for 10 months.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And,
sobrang tagal, di ba?
Di Na Natuto.
That became also a theme song or a title of your movie?
Not my movie.
Not your movie.
But,
Naging theme song yun eh.
Yeah,
Naging theme song yun.
Di Na
Alam ko yun.
Natuto. And it's always used. Parang pare, ano ka na yata? Parang Gary Valenciano ka na. Ano ibig sabihin? Di na ka na natuto eh. When it comes to relationships,
Right.
And I have very, very fond memories, even up to now, when Buboy comes to me and goes, Gars, si Buboy, dapat talaga hindi namin tinanggi yung kanta na yan. Ikaw talaga. Di, it's not my fault. Kasi the arranger was Menchu Apostol.
Yes,
so,
Menchu.
When Menchu Apostol arranged it, it sounded that way. Siguro yung tinungtog ni Danny sa kanila, it was just a guitar and Danny was just, ito, para sa atin. Diyan ka na naman. Tinutukso-tukso. It was different from the way Menchu Apostol arranged it. And he did wonders with that song. I mean, I have no regrets of doing that song because it really put me on the map.
You recorded at least 39 albums in your 40 years.
Yeah, I did.
Anong pinaka-paborito mo doon?
Uy, mahirap. Ay, okay. Yeah. Many of them, though, all of the 39 albums, they were not all brand new cuts. So many of them are compilations.
Right.
Okay, so I can have maybe 2 or 3 where I have an album called Gold, where it's 4 different CDs. One is all upbeat, parang ganun. One is inspirational, one is mostly Tagalog, but they're all compilations. Then there was another one called Replay, where these were songs that never made hits, but I loved. So we put them all together. Yung parang could have been hits, we put them all together in one. But there are albums that really stood out for me.
Ano number 1 sa'yo?
Well, the Shout for Joy album is one. And then there was the album called Revive, where the song I Will Be Here and the song Warrior is a Child, they were all a part of
That's
that
also
as
a
well.
very nice song. Diba?
Memorable din yun.
Iba yun pag kinakanta mo eh. I know that. I mean, I know that song.
It's powerful.
Yeah, grabe. Grabe ang ibang dating.
Yeah.
Iba ang dating. Ini-emphasize ko yung 40 years because you're celebrating your 40 years in this
I mean,
business.
the last few days of celebrating my 40th year.
Yes. You are also celebrating your 40th anniversary with your wife, Angeli, right? There was also a time na at the peak of your career, kayo at saka ni Martin Nievera, na you were pitted against each other.
Yeah.
I know you're the best of friends, pero was there a time na parang naapektuhan ang friendship nyo?
Yeah, I don't think that the friendship itself was affected, but I think our emotions were. It was really a battle between the fans, Martin's fans and Gary V fans.
Correct.
Like Nora and Vilma.
Vilma.
That kind of thing. And it was intense, you know. And even I think in the media.
And I was there.
You witnessed that.
I was there.
In the media, it was hard for me to speak to the media because I didn't know if they were makagari or Maka Martin. Kasi may
Correct.
kanya-kanyang ano
Correct,
yan eh.
correct.
And I don't know why. Because his style has always been, even up to today, has always been different. Kumbaga sa soft drinks, Pepsi siya, ako Coca-Cola ako eh.
Yes,
You know,
correct,
it's
correct.
layo eh.
Oo.
Music, his was more ballads, mine was more upbeat. Performances, his was music and laughter. Mine was music and dance. So
Right.
the only similarity was that we both loved music. But it's only from Martin that I learned how to speak to my audience. I would watch him. Vocally, excellent. Always. But when he would speak to his audience, that's what taught me how to communicate with my audience too. Na nung pumasok ako sa ASAP, I didn't know that he was also watching how I was doing it. And when he would come up to me or text me, hey bro, you're doing really well, ha? Kasi, ang nangyari kasi, kaya ako pumasok sa ASAP, Martin left for the US.
Yes.
And there was no certainty of his coming back
Right.
anymore.
Right.
So, nagkataon, I was celebrating, I think, my 30th or my 20th anniversary in the industry. My 20th anniversary, wala si Martin. So, parang ABS asked, maybe Gary can come and host ASAP? Co-host lang. Even just to promote his album, his concert. It was called Extreme, double X. So
Yes,
that stands
yes,
for
right,
20,
right.
Extreme. So I came, okay, sige. So I hosted for a while. And the big reason why I never got into hosting was because of my kids. I had traveled too much already to miss out on their growing years. Na ayokong pumasok pa sa pag-host kasi Sunday yun, di ba, and all. That was my 20th year. So Paolo was already 20, di ba? Gab was already 16. And Kiana was already 12. So it was from the kids. They said, no, Dad, look, if ABS wants you to host, go. We're big na. Don't worry about it. You know, we have
Sila
our own
pang
friends na and
nag-encourage.
all. They were the ones who encouraged me.
Yeah.
So I took on the job. I took on the task of hosting and taking the place of Martin without knowing that he was going to come back. So when he came back to ASAP, can you imagine the feeling of, this is the guy I learned from, and now I'm going to be working with him with regard to hosting. And when he would text me, he doesn't know this, but when he would text me back then, hey, Gars, I like what you said. Gars, just let it out, man. If you have something funny to say, just let it out. You know, you'll know it. You'll know the timing. And I'm like, I'm not you, bro. You're the one who comes up with all of these things. But his words of encouragement really helped me with regard to my hosting skills. And it has helped me even, it was parang nag-crossover na rin sa kung paano ako sa tao ngayon. When I wanna make them laugh or when I wanna touch their hearts and all, a lot of that is because of what I've learned from Martin Nievera.
Naniniwala ka ba na nakatulong yung rival rin yung dalawa, sa inyong dalawa rin?
Uy, nako.
Oo.
Of course,
Yeah.
definitely. Isipin natin, let's look at sports. The NBA, okay? My favorite teams are the Chicago Bulls. Well, actually, the Golden State Warriors. That's my number one team. There has to be some sort of competition with another top rival team to keep you on your toes. So with Martin and I, kahit hindi naapektuhan yung friendship namin, we were always ready. Anong gagawin ni Gary? Anong gagawin ni Martin? Naku, may concert siyang malaki. Anong gagawin natin? Ang ganda ng kanta ni Martin. Ang ganda ng pagkanta niya. Ano kayang pwede kong gawin? Alam ko na, itong gagawin ko. Ganon. It was never to outdo the other one, but it was always to keep up with whatever the other one was doing. Kasi I don't think he ever wanted to outdo me, and nor did I want to outdo him. Kasi sobrang, my respect for him was so high. Ang binanggit ko lang sa kanya was, you know, Mart, I'll never forget when I got your first album. Kawawang-kawawa talaga yung mga kapitbahay namin kasi lagi kong pinapatugtog yung Be My Lady mula umpisa hanggang sa dulo. Lalong-lalo na yung dulo, yung Forever. Minsan yun lang ang papatugtugin ko. Yung mga kapitbahay na fans mo, parang, ano ba yan? Bakit yun lang pinapatugtog ni Gary? And that's the truth. It was a vinyl and I would play it and I would be like, every time I would hear that song, Be My Lady, I'm like, man, what a voice. Grabe to. But because of that, I wouldn't copy him. But kung ano man ang nabigay sa akin ni Lord, I would practice in what my strengths were. And I think that the competition was so important kasi it gave people that sense of, wow, yung ginawa ni Gary, ginawa ni Martin. In fact, lagi siyang nauuna sa akin. Nagkaroon ako ng concert sa this place called Tavern on the Square.
Oh, yes.
Diba?
Oo,
Ilan lang ang kasya doon? 300.
Yeah.
Pero para sa akin, okay na yan. And then
Diba?
Martin Nievera had a concert at the Ultra.
And you
Open air. 40,000 people. I'm like, naunahan na naman ako. Okay, next. Sige, Araneta Coliseum. Pak! But then he'd have 2 nights at the Ultra. And I'm like, he was always ahead of me.
Right,
So it was always that, if he can do it, I can do it too. It's not, if he can do it, I can do it better. It was never like that. It was always, if
Pero
he can do it.
nagcha-challenge ka.
Nagcha-challenge ako
Yeah,
kasi
right.
mahirap eh.
Right.
Mahirap talaga mag-concert. Whether you dance or whether you stand still, it's not easy. You have to make sure your voice is intact, your sound is okay, naririnig ka ng tao na nasa harap, pati yung mga nandun, sa tuktok, doon sa pinakalikod, doon sa pinaka-bleachers, dapat naririnig ka. Martin has a great way of really reaching out to everyone. And I've learned that from him. So it was always, kailangan, kung kaya niya, kaya ko rin. Hindi yung tipong, kung kaya niya, lalampasan ko yun. No, it was never like that. And I'm happy to say that it was never like that.
Now, after 40 years, you're still there. You're still around. Anong sikreto niyong dalawa?
Parang naging magkapatid talaga kami. Kasi we shared a lot. At that time, he had Pops, di ba? And at that time, there was even a time I had a crush on Pops Fernandez. But we could talk about it.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that, yes.
But Martin
Angeli,
and I...
sorry
Angeli knows. Angeli knows about this.
Okay.
But kami ni Martin, we could talk about it.
Right.
It's like, woo! Yeah, but Gary, I'm sorry she ended up with me. Too bad for your... It's like, come on! And then even with Pops there, we can just laugh about it. And I think that's what real friendships are made of, And there are only a few in the industry na masasabi ko talaga na kaibigan ko talaga. I think
It's
Martin
very
is
rare.
one, Ogie is another
Yeah,
one,
right.
and there are a couple of others, musicians who are very, very close to me. It can be rare, but I think you don't need tens and tens of best friends. You just need a few that you can run to, talk to, cry with, dream with, and grow with.
May kulang pa ba sa isang Gary Valenciano?
Magandang tanong yan. Kasi actually, wala pang nagtatanong sa akin yan. I think na with regard to the tools that I have in order to fulfill my dreams, I think it's complete. There's nothing missing anymore. Hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na, hindi pa ako nakakapunta sa South America. Gusto ko mag-perform doon. Hindi pa ako nakakapunta sa South Africa. Hindi pa ako nakaka-perform doon. Or sa other parts of Middle East, hindi pa ako nakaka-perform doon. Pero I have to be careful because I could be greedy, in asking for that. But if I am called to go to these places, I will go. Argentina to Brazil, all of these South American, places. I will go back to Oman and Qatar and Dubai, Bahrain. I will go there. I will go to other places that I've never been to before. But I must say that there's nothing lacking in the person you see now. I have gone through challenges with my health, but I'm still around. So that means there are still things that are meant for me to accomplish.
You were very young. You had that, am I right, juvenile
Type 1 diabetes.
diabetes. And up to now, dala-dala mo pa rin yun. I think that's also one of the challenges you had to, bear up to this time.
Yes.
So, paano nakaka-survive ang Gary Valenciano after all these years, lalo na when you're performing? Parang, kasi once you're up on stage, parang walang sakit ang Gary Valenciano.
Well, first is the audience deserves nothing less. The audience is the one that faces the traffic, pays for a ticket, and comes to watch you. They cannot watch you if you're 99%. They have to watch you giving your 200%. Whether it's 50 people, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000 people, you have to give your all. Your audience deserves that. Okay? That's why you're there. But I want to go back to the song, Take Me Out of the Dark, because that's the only thing that sees me through. Kasi minsan, before I step out on stage, my sugar levels are too high.
Right.
Minsan, there's too low. The normal is between 80 to 140. Minsan, bago ako umapak sa stage, it's 243.
Oh my God.
And then it's going up pa, so I have to. Or sometimes it's at 62 or 52, and I have to take something sweet para sa ganon, I can survive. That's when the song Take Me Out of the Dark becomes so real to me. In the chorus part, the lyrics are, teach me to trust in you with all of my heart, to lean not on my own understanding. I just forget that you won't give me what I can't bear. Take me out of the dark, my Lord, I don't want to be there. And nobody really understands, what it's like to be on stage when you're not 100%. Vocally, that happens to all singers. But yung sugar levels, not being eksakto, kung saan dapat, walang makakaintindi nun kundi yung diabetic mismo. And I really have to trust. Like before I come out, what's your sugar level? It's 277 and it's going up. And they're introducing me and I'm getting my insulin and I'm adding insulin.
God.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, go. Are you sure you're ready? Yeah, give me some water. Okay, get it. Gary Valenciano, bang! But when I come out there and I start moving, all of that just gets pushed to the side. But it all begins with trusting with all my heart, not with part of it, not with just a part. Not yung tipong, sige, I trust in you, but this might happen. And no, it's like, I'm just trusting in you, Lord. You've never put me to shame before. And I don't think tonight's going to be the first time you're going to do that, because you're not like that. In fact, if I were to complete that verse, it's trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. So even when my sugar levels are crooked and all, even when my sugar levels may be too high or too low and all, if I trust in Him with all my heart, if I acknowledge Him in all my ways, He will make all of that straight. And then I can go through it. And it's been tough. I mean, the concert ng Pure Energy won last time. That's 3 hours and 15 minutes.
My God.
But when I finished the concert, I was like this. I wasn't like this. I wasn't like that. I was naturally tired. And that's good. So I don't mind being tired. Everybody gets tired. Diba? At the end of the day, when you go home, you're tired. But it's like after a good workout, yung pagod ka pero got it.
Mataas pa rin ang energy.
Mataas pa rin. So that's how I get by.
Balikan natin yung May 2018 when you were celebrating your 35th anniversary sa ASAP. Balikan natin yung
Okay, that was
panahon na yun.
April 28.
Yeah, right.
I was celebrating my anniversary in ASAP. And I think it was the number after the opening number ng ASAP. It was a 6-minute performance or 5-minute performance.
With Gab, with your son.
With Gab, Darren Espanto, and Inigo Pascual. And I started the very first song with Hataw Na. And after I did a certain move, I felt something very strange dito sa gitna ng chest ko. It's an experience I never felt before. Pero yung sakit niya, hindi tipong heart attack kind, no? Pero hindi tama eh. Kasi parang no matter what I did, akala ko baka may pipitik na pak and then okay na. Pero hindi eh. It stayed. To the point na after the entire number where I danced, I remember embracing, and it's on video, I embraced Gabriel like this, my son, and I said, Gab, pray for Dad because I have chest pains. And he goes, okay. Then I look at the audience and I go like this. And after that, commercial. Yung artists sa ASAP dati, no, when yung may live audience kami, hindi lang basta-basta pumupunta kami sa dressing room. You have to pass the audience before you go out. So may mga picture taking pa yan and all. Hindi tama to. This is mali to. Then I went to the back to the dressing room. May paramedic doon, si Chris. And then she said, Sir, I'll check your blood pressure. Uy, sir, medyo mataas. It was like 180 over 110.
Wow.
But she said, but sir, baka kasi ka-perform mo pa lang. Kasi talagang umataw talaga ako.
Right.
Babalik ako after 30 minutes, sir, to check on you. So 30 minutes went by, I rested. Kasi may number pa kami ni Sasha. But it's ballad naman. So I couldn't back out of that. Kung hindi, mabubutas yung production number for ASAP. Pagbalik niya sa dressing room, chinek niya yung blood pressure ko, normal. Everything was normal. But when I was called to sing na, pagtayo ko, parang feeling ko, nag-concert ako ng 2.5 oras. I was tired. It was, obviously, there was something not right. So I sang. Okay naman ang boses ko. Then I came back, tapos yung mga iba na nasa backstage, oh sir, kamusta na kayo? Yeah, I think I'm okay. To make a long story short, I remember I went to the doctor. I decided, sige, magpa-check ako. So I did a stress test.
Was this after the show?
This was after the show.
Alright.
Days after. Kasi meron pang performance sa gabi.
Okay.
I had to go to this PGT. I think it's Filipinas Got Talent.
Right.
And I had to perform with Ogie. And I told Ogie, I said, bro, remember kanina medyo sumakit yung, bro, I'll be okay and all. So, sabi ni Ogie, I'll take care of you, bro. You'll be okay, ganyan. So, paglabas namin on stage, sumayaw na rin ako. Wala naman problema. But, on the way home, sa kotse, Pampanga yun eh. On the way home,
my God.
ang feeling ko, wow, parang hindi tama to. Parang nag-concert ako. That's only a 2-minute number na ginawa namin ni Ogie dun sa show na yan. Then I went to the stress test. And in the stress test, hindi ko malilimutan yung mga paramedics na nandun. Stage 2 pa lang ng stress test. Nakaganon. They're looking at the chart. Sir, ngayon, meron po kayong nararamdaman? And I said, no, I'm okay. Why? Okay, sir, in 30 seconds, iakyat namin, itataas namin to stage 3. Sir, mag-i-incline pa siya ng konti at bibilis yung treadmill. Okay? Sumabay lang po kayo at pag meron kayong naramdaman, sabihin niyo lang, stage 3. And then I was walking, I said, wait. Okay, wait. I feel something. Then they stopped it. Then they were looking at the chart. And of course, I was asking, is there anything wrong? But they're not allowed to tell me. It has to be the specialist, my cardiologist. They called my cardiologist who was out of town. I think he was in Korea or Japan. And then he called. Habang nandun ako, they gave me first something to bring down my blood pressure. And then I said, hey doc, what's wrong? And immediately he goes, Gars, looks like we have a problem with your heart. I want to see you when I arrive tomorrow. I have to check your heart. Okay. I went back to him the next day. Chinek niya ako. He had a big monitor. And I guess he did an angiogram. He checked my heart and all. And then he said, Gars, your heart is amazingly clear. Look, Gary, you're a type 1 diabetic. Pero lahat ng mga ugat, lahat ng mga veins and arteries, it's all very clear. Except for this one. It's the left main artery. What they call the left LAD, left ascending.
Hindi ako masyadong familiar sa...
LDA, left descending artery.
Right.
Okay?
So may artery...
Yes.
Yeah.
In other words, it's known also as the widow maker. So it's the reason why many people get a heart attack. Dahil dun sa left LDA, left descending artery. And he goes, Gary, I want to show you. I'll zoom in, okay? He zoomed in on it. And you can see the artery like this and then biglang wow. Then it continues. It was 95%.
Parang blocked siya?
Blocked.
Wow.
Then it goes, that's why you were hurting. That's why you were hurting. And it was pain because you had so much blood trying to go through at hindi. Kasi it's barado. Gary, I cannot do a stent on this. I have to go do a bypass on you. Ako, malay ko ba kung anong bypass? Sabi ko, go, doc, go for a bypass. Yung pala, it's open heart.
Oh my God.
They have to open you, they take out your heart, and then they got a
part of the nerve?
Part of the vein. From here. And then that's what they would use to do a double bypass on a single artery. So kung ito yung may bara, naglagay sila ng isang bypass dito at isang bypass dito. So tinanong ko yung doktor, bakit dalawa ang kailangan? Because you're a diabetic. And your diabetes is what caused it. Sabi ko, hindi ba diet ko? No, sabi niya, pag diet mo yan, dapat nakita natin yung may iba't ibang bara sa iba't ibang lugar. But it's only on that left descending artery, the widowmaker. So I said, okay. So when they closed me up, and I have a scar here. Hindi lang nakikita masyado, which the doctor's really happy about. Kasi sabi niya, bihira daw mag-heal ng ganito yung diabetics. But it's here. It's from here to here. It's a big scar. Tapos may dalawang tubo na pinasok dito for draining the blood and the excess water. And then I had something here also to drain for medication purposes and all. But he was really, really satisfied with the way I was healing. Kasi ang bilis. I remember standing up with that pillow in my chest. If you have any family members na nagkaroon ng heart issues and they have a pillow with a heart, ganun din ako. I had a heart here. I have to close it like this. And then I have to walk slowly to the banyo. As in talagang hardly able to walk. And that was part 1. Because as I was healing, about a week and a half after, napansin ko na parang ba't ako nagkakaroon ng tubig dito sa kaliwang parte ng katawan ko, on the lungs. It's called pleural effusion, kung saan talagang nakakatubig talaga. It happens to 30% of patients that undergo bypass. So, chinek ng doktor uli. they drained 2 liters from this left lung alone, you know. And then he checked, he says, you know, Gary, let's just make sure that that's all that's happening. Let's do a CT scan on your body, upper part. Okay. So they took it, and when I got to see him, sabi niya, okay, ganito yon, no? Tama ako, sabi. May pleural effusion ka nga, may tubig ka nga dito sa left. But that's okay, kasi yun nga, tulad ng binanggit ko, 30% ng mga pasyente nagkakaroon ng ganyan. But Gary, I'm more concerned with what's happening on the right side of your... I said, why? What's going... Dito kami nakatingin eh, kami ni Mrs. Dito kami nakatingin. Biglang sabi niya, on the right side. Sabi ko, why? What's happening on my right side? Because Gary, I'm a cardiologist. Pero marami na akong nakausap na mga diabetics katulad mo. At ang resulta ng kanilang CT scan sa kidneys ay katulad niyan. I said, why? What's wrong? And he looked at me straight in the eye and said, you have cancer in the kidney. And it was kind of big. It's 4 centimeters by 6 centimeters. So if you get a little child's hand and do that, ganun kalaki. Buti na lang, it was kalahating nasa labas ng kidney.
Protruding na siya.
Protruding na siya.
Okay.
Hindi siya dun sa pinaka-main artery na kung saan, you know, it's connected to the rest of the body. So it was very isolated. So when they went in and they took out 33% of my kidney, kinuha na rin yung tumor na yan. And since then, since 2018, I've been free.
In a span of 1 month?
In a span of 2 weeks.
2 weeks, wow.
From here, biglang ito. So I went in on May 6 was this one. And June 13 was this one. Kasi sabi ko, I want this out. I don't want to wait. Yeah, but Gary, you just had this. Let's go for it.
Grabe, ang tapang mo.
You know? Well, it was tapang. At the same time, it was also parang, hindi pa ba sapat yung lahat ng mga pinagdaanan ko? Hindi pa ba sapat yan? Yung diabetes and then this one. Tapos may cancer pa. Okay, sige. And I often share this, but you know, Aster, I remember there's a white room kasi kung saan parang they prepare you in, no? So they wheel you in, then there's white curtains, tapos bago nila ako binigyan ng pampatulog, sinara nila yung curtain na gano'n. Nangyari yun when I had the bypass. Nangyari uli when I had this. So I was there, and in my mind, I'm going, Lord, I'm here again. Here in this very same room again. And at that point, in his tender and caring ways, it's like he sat on the tip of my bed. Parang he goes like that to me. Of course, this is all in the spirit, no?
Right.
He goes, yeah, I know, and I'm here again too. So when he said that, when I felt that, I said, okay, there's this peace that comes upon you. The whole world can say, what, he has cancer and all, and I'm like, yeah, I do, but I also have my God. So when I have my God with me, it can be a bypass, it can be cancer, it can be something, an infection here. But my God is bigger than all of these combined. So when that happened, I remember the curtains opened and then they came in to put me to sleep. And I slept. When I woke up, I remember I had the tube here and I couldn't breathe.
Oh my God.
I couldn't breathe. And then the surgeon says, Gary, stop doing the NG sound. You're going, open it up. Take in air. I was looking for Angeli. I was going, and then open up. Then I opened it. I went to sleep. Next thing I know, when I opened my eyes, nasa regular room na ako. That was the cancer naman. And I lost so much weight. I went from 178 pounds to 162.
Wow.
Like 16 pounds.
Wow.
That's the best part. But then, you gain it back after a while. But it was quite an ordeal for me. And when I share it with people, people go, wow. But from the perspective of the patient, with the way God worked in me, I'm the one supposed to go, wow. Amazing, just the way kung saan niya ako, he saw me through it. And he wasn't watching me from a distance. He was with me every step of the way. Come on, Gary, one more. Okay, you got the cancer? Come on, I'll take the steps with you. Come on, I know. But I'm going to step through this with you, okay? Come on, another step, next step, one more, next step. That's it, one more, that's it. There you go, come on, one more. Yeah. Look, I'm still here with you, okay? Okay, now, on September, you have a concert. On November, you're gonna push the Awit at Laro album. Next year, this is what you're going to do. So, when I speak about these things and I get emotional about it, it's because it wasn't,
It was not ordinary.
Hindi dapat talaga eh. So when I sing songs like Warrior is a Child, that's really what I am. And I'm not the only one going through it. I know many out there are going through their own mga kani-kaniyang mga pagsubok sa buhay na maaring iniisip nila, wala nang pag-asa and all. Don't believe that lie. There's always hope. Even if you're always the one who is at fault, even if it's your fault talaga, God is not done with you yet.
Was there a time that you questioned God?
No, I never questioned God for who He is. But I have questioned why. But it's not the why na tipong, bakit? Why bakit? No, it's more like two friends or like a father and a son, and I'm talking to him and I'm like, why pa? I mean, I know you have your reasons and all, but I can't understand it, and I may never understand why. But when I look at what you've given me, lahat ng binigay mo sa akin, lahat ng mga pagkakataon na binigay mo sa akin, lahat ng mga pagkakataon na makausap ko yung mga kabataan ngayon. I visited 59 universities and colleges and high schools, and I'm going to continue doing this. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to be in
Parang to
UPLB.
share.
Yeah, I just share my life to an audience na hindi naman nakikilala ako. I mean, they only know me because they heard my songs playing, because their nanay or tatay or lola or lolo were playing my songs. Pero binibigyan ako ng pagkakataon na makausap sila just to share my life.
And to inspire people.
To
because
inspire
there are a lot of people like that also, going through the same...
Through it. Or baka meron silang kakilala na ganun. Na tatay ko ganito, nanay ko, ito yung pinagdadaanan nila. And I'm just there to hopefully inspire them, to give them hope. Kasi for me, my life is powered by hope and it's fueled by faith. So that's how I try and live my life. If I don't have hope, why am I singing?
Alam mo siguro, ang isa siguro sikreto is your very strong relationship with Him. Your strong faith.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
There are others who have faith na mas malakas talaga sa akin. It's just that I've come to accept Him into my life. And He has kept the relationship strong. Na yung tipong, even pagdating sa mga times of my life kung saan medyo pasaway ako. Kasi I don't
Was there a time?
It doesn't have to be through actions kasi. It can be through what I think.
Yes.
I see a beautiful girl. I see a beautiful car. I see a beautiful house. And then I start to, dapat meron akong gano'n. Dapat ganito, ganyan. Dapat ganyan, dapat. Then I come to the realization, in His ways, He's like, really? Really, Gary? Come, let's sit, let's talk, you and me. And I treat my relationship with God like that. Na He's my Father, He's my King, He's my Savior, but He's also my best friend. And He's not going to take it against me if I come to Him in tears. And I'm like, kaya hindi ko magawa to kasi bakit na? Ganon? Mas gusto niya na ganon ako, na naririnig niya ako. Kahit ano man ang kondisyon ng puso ko or kondisyon ng utak ko, but at least I get to converse with Him and I get to commune with Him.
Directly.
Directly.
Yes.
And God is not after our perfection, but He's after our persistence to always seek Him in our life. And I'm just thankful na after 40 years, there's still another 40 to look forward to. And I think that I think I'll still be around, for 40 years.
Remember the time that you were in Pasadena?
This was the first time na pumunta ang ASAP. It was called the Summer Caravan. First time na yung ASAP, ABS-CBN, care of TFC at lahat, ay nabigyan ng pagkakataon na mag-perform abroad. So we had two concerts, two shows. One was in LA, one was in San Francisco. The San Francisco concert was the first one. Ang ganda ng concert. So syempre inspired ako. Pagbalik ko sa kwarto ko, sa hotel room ko, gusto ko nang pag-aralan yung susunod na mga kanta for the next week. Next weekend pa yun eh.
Yeah.
So habang pinag-aaralan ko yung mga kanta, sabi ni Mrs., sabi niya, Gary, but you have to eat. Kasi baka mamaya mag-jet lag ka, matulog ka, hindi ka pa kumakain. Bababa ang sugar mo, baka maging delikado yan. So no, I'll be fine. I'll order later on. So I was learning my songs, natamaan ako ng jet lag. Wow. So I slept. Hindi ako gumising. It was Angeli who woke up. about 2 or 3 in the morning. Paggising niya, nangingisay daw ako on the I was convulsing. And you know, when a diabetic begins to have seizures like that, it's dangerous because of it can affect the brain. So, I remember there was somebody from ABS and my former road manager, si Vina Pareha, that got me. Hindi ko na maalala kung ano yung mga sinabi nila at kung anong ginawa nila. Basta't alam ko, they got me daw, tapos they took me down the hallway ng hotel. As in parang, wala, unconscious daw ako. Pinasok ako sa elevator, binaba ako sa lobby ng hotel, at nandun ang lahat ng mga artists. This was about maybe 1 a.m., 2
So
a.m.
pinagkaguluhan ka.
Well, Paolo was there. Kasi niremind ako ni Paolo eh. Sabi niya, alam mo, Kuya Gary, alala ko yun. Nakita kita nandun. Tapos inaano ka, nire-revive ka ng 911 paramedics. I think Gerard and Kim were there. Mr. M was there. Mr. Johnny Manahan. And there were other artists that were there. Ang naalala ko lang was nandun ako, tapos naalala ko yung mukha ng isang Amerikanong paramedic. At tinatanong ako, okay, what is your name? Tinatanong, I'm Gary Valenciano. Okay, where are you? I'm in Manila.
Oh
Kasi ang iniisip ko, ASAP Manila.
Yeah, right.
So I'm in Manila. No, you're not. Where are you? I'm in Manila. Ganun. Tapos narinig ko si Angeli, Gary, ASAP Caravan. Oh, no. I'm in Pasadena. Tapos tumingin sa akin na ganun. All right, he's gonna be okay. But, sir, young man pa ang tawag sa akin. Young man, we're gonna take you to the emergency just to make sure and keep you under observation. You suffered a severe hypoglycemic episode. We have to take you now. I said, okay, all right. Then, of course, when I looked around, everybody's like this, you know, and some are parang ganon yung mga iba, umiiyak.
All word.
Then I remember going on the stretcher. Na may rollers, and you know, they rolled me to the emergency. And I remember there was one artist bago sinara yung I don't know if it was Gerard Anderson.
Okay.
So I remember looking at, I went like that lang. Tapos, clag! Tapos dinala na ako sa emergency sa ER. And I was just there. That's what happened to me. Nakita ng buong ASAP yun. Kaya, in a way, mabuti na rin na nangyari to. Kasi seryoso talaga ang diabetes at may mga food rider ako sa bawat concert, bawat event na kailangan nandun. Kailangan talaga. Juice, fruits, fig newtons, mga variety of foods na maaari kong kainin kung sakaling bumaba ang sugar ko. O kunyari, maramdaman ko na, pababa na siya, okay, akin yan, then I'm okay.
You have your wife. Not just your manager, but of course your wife. Na
Alam
number
na alam
one
niya.
caregiver mo.
Oh yeah. Alam na alam niya. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, kung ako ang puso ng pamilyang Valenciano, siya yung nagpapatibok. She's the one that keeps it pumping.
Can you describe Angeli?
Angeli, fighter yan. You know, when she believes in something that is right, she will fight for it. Not just for me or my kids, for anyone that she believes na kailangan depensahan. You know, sa mga iba na maaaring mag-take advantage dun sa taong yun. So we handle a foundation called the Shining Light Foundation.
Oh, yes.
And she's the one who thought of, tara, magkaroon tayo ng foundation para lang matulungan ng iba sa mga anak ng mga pastor. Kasi may mga ibang pastor na sinarender nila yung buhay nila, no? Which means, if they were businessmen before, they gave that up for going into ministry. Ibig sabihin, they don't earn that much anymore. So, nag-umpisa ang Shining Light Foundation sa pagtulong sa mga anak ng mga pastor na hindi na kumikita tulad ng dati, no, gaya ng dati. Then it went a step further. We started helping out people in need talaga to send children to school. Children who are passionate about school. At nagpapasalamat ako na today we have several scholars who have graduated and who are now working in very good jobs, you know, and nakakataba lang ng puso pag makarinig ka ng ganun.
Ito yung hindi alam ng marami.
Yeah, but
diba?
you know, I don't have naman to tell people na ito yung ginagawa namin, kasi we don't have to make the right hand know what the left hand is doing, you know. But Angeli is the one who really thought of that. Angeli is also one na she's also very misunderstood. Kasi no nonsense kasi si Angeli. Kunyari dito siya naniniwala na ang laman nito ay dapat tsaa. Baka may ibang magsabi, hindi, lagyan mo ng Coke yan. O kaya, kasi meron pang nilalaman na tsaa. Hindi magiging masarap ang Coke kung nilagyan. Hindi, pero she'll fight for what she believes is right. And many times, the people will not understand until later on. And then later on, when they understand, they'll come back to Angeli, either mag-apologize sila and all, but she'll take them with open arms and say, di ba, sabi ko sa'yo, may laman pa yan siya eh. Ano nangyari? Ang pangit na ng lasa, nilagyan namin ng coke. Di ba, sabi ko. Ganon siya.
Sekreto ng marriage niyo. 40 years.
40 years is because noong 1985 of November 12, bago mo masabi na talagang... Kasi when we got married on my birthday, August 6, 1984. Civil. And alala ko pa noon, it was the premiere night of Hot Shots.
First
my first movie with Viva.
First movie with Viva.
Hot Shots.
Right.
Sa Kanlubang kami kinasal. Tapos dumiretso na ako. Buntis si Angeli noon. I had to run right away to Green Hills Theater dahil doon ang premiere. Anyway, on November 12 of 1985, we had an encounter with the Lord. And yung gabing yun ay para talaga, sinet up niya para sa akin. Kasi feeling niya, parang naging ako kay Lord eh. Parang, tama na. Ang dami na kasing nangyari sa akin.
Malayo.
Naghiwalay yung parents ko. Hiningi ko ba yun? Di naman. Diabetes ko, hindi ko naman hiningi yun. May diabetes, nasunugan pa kami. So, sabi ko, tama na, ayaw na. So, she felt na habang yung Na Natuto ay nasa top charts, hindi niya maintindihan, pati ako hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit hindi naman ako masaya. Kahit nasa charts yung Na Natuto. It's because there was a lot of insecurity. There was a lot of...
Sa part mo?
Sa part ko.
Kuya?
There was a lot of insecurity. Kasi binanggit mo kanina yung Martin Nievera, di ba?
Right.
Hindi talaga ako insecure kay Martin, pero insecure ako na hindi ko makakayanan kung ano ang...
Narating niya.
Kung ano ang how do I say it in Tagalog?
Na-achieve niya?
Kung meron akong natutunan kay Martin, hindi ko alam kung magagawa kung ano yung mga natutunan ko sa kanya. So, there was a lot of that insecurity for me. Hindi dahil sa ibang tao, but it's just me. And I became very unhappy. Yung mga tipong, so nag-perform ako sa isang school. Let's say Miriam College, nandun ako sa Miriam College. Or let's say Concordia College, nandun ako sold out. Pero ang nasa isip ko, ano kaya kung bumalik ako dito 2 months from now, magiging sold out pa kaya? Ano kaya pag wala na yung Na Natuto? Yung
May mga negative thoughts ka.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my struggle then.
Right.
So, we went to this house, yung bahay ng kapatid niya, si Maricel at saka si Vic Arenas, Julia's dad and mom. At doon namin nakilala si Lord in a very personal way. Sabi ni Vic sa akin, Gary, how are you? I said, I'm good. I'm good. At alam ko, Aster, I knew. Sinetap ni Angeli, ay nako, pag-uusapan na naman namin si Lord. Alam ko na to.
So resistant ka?
Yeah.
Okay.
As in, don't. Sinabi ko pa nga sa kanya kasi kumain kami ng dinner doon. After dinner, binulong ko talaga, sabi ko, Angeli, after this dinner, I'm going home na. Why you don't want to stay longer? I'm going home. Okay, I want to do other things at home. O sige, we'll stay lang for 5 minutes. 5 minutes lang, ha? 5 minutes lang. So pumasok kami sa isang den. Tapos kinausap ako ni Vic. The whole family calls him Kuya Vic. I call him Vic. And Vic said, so Gary, how are you? Ganun. I'm okay. I'm good. Then he says, Gary, do you know who Jesus Christ is? Eto na. Pag-uusapan si Lord. Sabi, and of course me, on the outside, yeah, of course I know Jesus. On the inside, it's like, dude, of course I know Jesus. Okay, he was born on Christmas Day. He's the son of Mary. He died. Then he rose again. Who doesn't know Jesus? But of course, on the outside, yeah, Vic, I know. So we were talking about it, but talagang inside of me, I was like, I just want to go home. Can I just go home? And Angeli was there bringing me because it was for me. She really set it up for me. Then Vic asked one crucial question. So Gary, if you died now, where do you think you'd go? So me, I'm like, immediately, our tradition is maghanap tayo ng kahoy, di ba? Then, huy, wag naman, ganon. And I wanted to do that. But I felt that God was already speaking to me, and I'm bold enough to say it, okay? Because it really felt like He was saying, Gary, I am talking to you, not Vic. I just need you to listen. If you don't like what I offer you, then you have your choice. You have free will naman eh. But maybe you might want to listen to this. So I couldn't, then parang niya narinig ko, you're not going to put your trust, your life, is not, you don't want to trust a piece of wood. Hindi mo man lang alam kung saan nanggaling yung kahoy na yan. Baka ginamit lang yan to, for yung pang-contain ng basura or ginamit lang yan extra sa man. You're going to trust your life to a piece of wood by knocking on it. So he says, listen to me. So I was there and I told Vic, I was very honest, and I told him, Vic, alam ko kung ano ang nais mong mangyari dito sa gabing ito. I know what you want to talk about and where you're leading this, but I'm not ready to talk about this. How about next week? I'll tell my secretary to call you. Brother-in-law ko, I'll tell my secretary. Di ba dapat, I'll call you. No, I'll tell my secretary. Talagang medyo na ako, yung parang wow.
Uneasy na ang pakiramdam mo.
And Vic looks at me, and now Vic was known as a very serious person. Okay? As in yung mukha niya talagang bihirang gumalaw yung mga ibang muscles ng mukha niya dahil palagi siyang, Gary, kamusta? And that's the way I knew him. But he was not like that night. In fact, he said, okay, next week, sure. But what if on your way home, something happens? After all, you'll never know when your time comes.
Right.
And I just, wala na. I don't know how it happened, but I found myself falling into a deeper conversation with him. I did not force myself. I just found myself in that conversation. Then he says, Gary, you can actually have Jesus come into your life tonight. And I'm like, wait, Vic. You mean how? How am I so? No, we just say a simple prayer. There's no formula in this prayer. But if your heart wants to, that's the key. If you say this prayer from your heart, then the Lord will. He didn't say can. He didn't say he might. He can. He says he will come into your heart if you say this prayer. Okay. Sige. So I said a prayer, and in that prayer, I admitted how big a sinner I was. I admitted and I confessed that I believed, not just in Jesus, but I believed that He died on the cross to replace me from dying from my mistakes. He died on the cross and then He rose again. I believed that His resurrection would be my resurrection also. Now, this might seem deep to some of you, but at that time, I did not understand any of it, but I was beginning to sense that this is what I was being told, and I was feeling it in my heart. I believe not just in Jesus Christ, but I believe in everything that He said He was. So we were praying like that, and then at the end, in Jesus' name, I said, Lord, come into my heart. Be my personal Lord and my personal Savior. Okay? So I said that. And even now, as I'm making kwento, I'm already smiling because I opened my eyes like this and I looked at Angeli. She said the same prayer too. So she took me to that event, but she said the same prayer too. I remember I looked at Vic and I said, wait, Vic, what's going on? And he goes, why? I'm smiling. There's something going on, Vic. This is not. What's going on? And he looked at me and he goes, that's the Jesus you thought you knew.
Wow, kilabutan ako.
And from that time on, everything changed. Not overnight, but my actions are still...
That same night?
That same night. It's like my outlook in life, black and white. The diabetes was, okay, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but He does. So sige, I entrust everything to you. I don't know if these eyes are going to be able to withstand the onslaught of diabetes, but He does. So it's all up to you. And from 1985 to 2024, everybody, many people know the stories, cancer, the bypass and all, but I'm still here. And He's still seeing me through. In fact, I have a repeat of that big concert, right?
Yes.
So that's how I came to kami ni Angeli the same night. And since then, she's really taken off. Mine, because I'm stubborn, mine is a little slower, but I'm still growing in the Lord. It's a lifelong journey. And I'm thankful na hanggang ngayon, hindi pa na-satisfy yung hunger ko. Andun pa rin yung gutom ko na malaman ng lahat tungkol kay Lord.
Maraming salamat sa Pandan Asian Cafe. Dennis, of course, Roland, and Alvin. Ever Belena, Hello Glow, Beauty Derm, Eris Beauty Care, Aficionado by Joel Cruz, Doc Rob's Wellness Supplements, R&A Events Place by Richie Ang, Asia Slashes, Sugar White by Sugar Mercado, Nessa Celia Salon for my hair and makeup, Gandang Rick Reyes, Most View from Japan, Memoy.ph, Soulful Joy Furnitures. Maraming salamat Charles Solano of Solano Hotel, Colorete Clothing by Bebot Santos, Dr. M. Sevilla of Vine Aesthetics, Shinagawa LASIK and Aesthetics Center, Shinagawa Diagnostic and Preventive Care Center, Neola Nail and Spa, Manila Bulletin, Studio Manila, Tokyo Grill Tomas Morato, Mesa Tomas Morato, The Red Meat Shawarma. Maraming salamat, Chef John.